This is a very special communication that we are doing here today, unlike anything that we have done in the past. It's not about any major announcements. We will tell you where we are in Mahindra on BS6, but primarily it is to, as the invitation said, demystifying BS6. There are a lot of concerns that we have as an industry in the media on what will happen with BS6. And we want to give you a absolutely inside view of what is BS6, what's happening, where we are, what it took for us to get where we are. And it really was prompted by a review that Rajan and I had about 2 months ago at MRV, where the team had put together almost the same presentation that we're going to be making to you today. And I thought that it's something that we should share with outside world and not keep it within Mahindra. And there was a concern that are we going to be telling too much? Or will we be revealing information that we should not reveal too fast? But we thought that it's okay to take that risk a little bit if it helps for people to understand a little bit more about BS6 and perhaps take away some anxieties that there might be about what BS6 will do. So this financial year, FY19, started off with a very big event, the general elections. And for the auto industry will end with a very big event, which is the BS6 implementation. I have been kind of in close circles talking about BS6 from 1st April 2020 as the Y2K event for the auto industry. And those of you who are old enough would remember that Y2K was something that was supposed to make the whole IT industry come to a standstill. But what happened was that nothing like that. 1st January 2020 came and went, and nobody even noticed that it happened. And I'm hoping the same thing will happen with BS6. Today, we are all worried as to what will happen with BS6. Will the industry cope up? Will there be fuel? Will there be component supply? But because the industry has prepared itself very well, and I believe what I'm saying is true not just for Mahindra, but for others, and of course, I don't have inside information on others, I hope that it will be like the Y2K, a non-event, that on 1st April 2020, suddenly we will have all BS6 vehicles and industry will continue as if nothing has happened. Now, previous government has taken many bold decisions. And one of the bold decisions that the government took, frankly, was announcing that we will move from BS4 to BS6 from 1st April 2020. At that time, we had not even launched BS4 completely when this was announced. And we were skipping one emission level, which had never been done before. Now, industry, frankly, was up in the arms. And there are a lot of representation that we did. I was also leading some of the delegations at that time to Mr. Gadkari. But Mr. Gadkari stood his ground and said, nothing doing. We do need to have cleaner cars, cleaner environment, and we must therefore do BS6 from 1st April 2020. And there never was a doubt that we need to have a cleaner environment. Industry never questioned that. There never was a doubt that we need to have cleaner vehicles with higher level of emission standards. The only thing that industry was concerned about was skipping BS5 and also the timeline that was given, which was only about 4 years for bringing in BS6. And as you know, since then, the Honorable Court has taken away some more time by making sale date as 31st March 2020 from manufacturing date, which was the original intent of the notification. I gave a presentation in ACMA immediately after the announcement in February 16, where I talked about 2 scenarios that could emerge as a result of us trying to launch BS6 from April 2020. OEMs will be under time pressure. That is scenario number 1, that OEMs will be under time pressure, take the easy way out, import technology, import components, kill any efforts towards Make in India, in the process make vehicles unaffordable to masses and slow down the growth of industry and hence India's GDP growth. A scary scenario. And scenario 2 was the OEMs will work with Indian suppliers using indigenous technology and frugal engineering, come up with solutions which give cleaner, safer and connected vehicles with technology and components sourced in India at affordable prices, accelerate industry growth and hence GDP growth. Now, scenario 2 converts a challenge of BS6 into a big opportunity, an opportunity for Make in India, an opportunity for Indian auto ecosystem to move up the technology and value ladder, an opportunity to prove that we are not just a low-cost country, but make clean and safe vehicles. There's no doubt that everybody wanted scenario 2, but at that time, nobody believed that given the time frame of 4 years, scenario 2 was at all possible. Let's fast forward. Here we are now, just about 10 months away from launching BS6 vehicles. The past 3.5 years have perhaps been the most challenging years for any product development and sourcing organization in the auto industry in India. Where we are today has taken a lot of blood, sweat, and tear, as they say, but Mahindra is ready for BS6, and I believe that the whole industry is ready or will be ready for BS6. And we'll tell you all the gory details, much more than what you bargained for in terms of how we have become ready, what the challenges still are, and what has been accomplished in the time being. And the good thing is that my feared scenario 1 did not happen. What has happened is a scenario 2. And again, we'll give you all the details as to why we feel so good that what we managed to do is scenario 2. Of course, I don't know about other companies, but I believe that everybody is closer to scenario 2 than scenario 1. I believe that Mr. Gadkari perhaps had more confidence in the Indian industry than we did ourselves. And it is our never say die spirit that we have and frugal approach that has triumphed finally. Today we are narrating a story to you. It's a story as much of technology, planning, program management, as a story of determination of a 700 strong team. 700 people have worked for the last 3.5 years to make BS6 happen, along with numerous suppliers and consultants. Could you put the slide of our team here? So just some glimpses of the journey of 3.5 years. Mostly you will see maybe tired but happy faces in these pictures if you come closer. Now our journey started right about when BS6 was being announced. And I think one thing that we perhaps did was took an early lead in getting things started. It started the huddle at MRV of Rajan, of Veluswamy, who is not here today, and Hemant Sikka, and with their teams, to kind of plan out the whole thing, to work with suppliers, to work with consultants. And there were 2 challenges that we gave to the team at that time. The first challenge was to meet time target, obviously that's non-negotiable, but with competitive cost on diesel portfolio. And the second challenge, which was more relevant in Mahindra's context, that Mahindra was generally known not for its gasoline engines, but for diesel engines. And therefore, the second challenge was to develop a portfolio of petrol engines which are globally competitive. In fact, given that we had no petrol engines at that time, we probably had an advantage. The petrol engines that we would launch would be the latest technology petrol engines. And as we become ready to launch BS6, and we will tell you all the details about that, as I said, I want to share 5 things with you that make me happy and proud in the way things have happened and where we are. First of all, we are ready. We are ready in time, and we see almost no technical risk of getting BS6 vehicle in the market from 1st April 2020. Though there are some challenges, and we'll talk about the challenges more, but these are not technical challenges. And we are ready because we got an early start. We planned, we did a lot of front loading, and worked with key suppliers and consultants. The second thing is that all technological challenges that we were aware of were negated, offering a product that will not simply be BS4 to BS6, but a product that will offer little more to the customer. Now, many of you know that anytime there is an emission level upgradation, and this time we have 2 level upgradation, there is a compromise or a fear of compromise in fuel efficiency, in performance of the vehicle, drivability, NVH, But our engineers ensured that none of these things were compromised in our implementation of BS6. In fact, in some cases, we have improved on some of these parameters. And in some sense, I could say the challenge of BS6 became an opportunity for giving a slightly better product in terms of all of these parameters to our consumers. I also noticed, and this is more of an internal thing, an outside world doesn't really care, but since we are giving you an inside story, I want to share that with you, that I also experienced that the teamwork that we had between our engineers, our suppliers, and our consultants was the best that I've ever seen. Because everybody was on a mission that we have been given a challenge of achieving something that nobody in the world has ever achieved. And a challenge that can an Indian company with Indian resources do it. And because that challenge is something that inspired everybody in our team, the kind of cooperation that we saw, the work that we saw, the teamwork that we saw between engineers, suppliers, and consultants is something that I have never seen before. A close cooperation to develop technologies in India, to meet the time targets, cost targets, and give a product that has enough time for full validation, because that was again one of our concerns, that we may not have enough time for full validation. We have, in the process, added state-of-the-art facilities at MRV, and we probably have as good engine development facility as you will find anywhere in the world. And we have also filed for 30 plus patents in the process. The fourth was exceeding localization and cost targets. Now again, one of my fears, as I said in scenario one, was that we will end up importing everything because there's not enough time to develop tooling, to test, validate, and all that. But the important thing was that that didn't happen. Our teams will tell you, I don't want to take away the thunder, the teams will tell you how much localization happened, and teams will tell you where we ended up in terms of our cost target. They will not give you a cost number, but give you some indication of where we ended up in our cost target compared to what we had planned. And fifth, a very important thing for Mahindra, a portfolio of globally competitive petrol engines. And this is something that we were lacking in 2016. We'll tell you what we have done, and we will tell you where we are headed. This new portfolio of gasoline engines that we have already launched in two products, the latest one being XUV300, is already gaining credibility. Our ability to design and develop and manufacture world-class gasoline engines. And XUV300, we already have a 25-75 ratio of petrol and diesel, which is a good beginning for us, given that we are known only for diesel and not for petrol engines. And the good thing is that we also have a stamp of approval when both Ford and SsangYong decided that they would want to use Mahindra's new petrol engine in their vehicles, which means that we have managed to develop an engine that is globally competitive. So we are ready, we will be ready with our first diesel and gasoline BS6 ready vehicles in about 3 to 4 months, by the end of the second quarter of this year. We would probably be able to launch the gasoline vehicle as soon as we are ready, because it does not require a BS6 fuel, but we cannot launch the diesel vehicle till after the fuel becomes available throughout India. And as soon as that is done, we will be able to launch our first diesel BS6 vehicle, and I'm expecting that to be somewhere in late December, early January timeframe. As I said earlier, the challenge in front of us is not so much about being ready. Not everything is done, but we are confident that it will be done well in time. So it's not so much about being ready, but in managing the transition flawlessly. Just imagine that we have to ramp up and ramp down the 100% volume of our automotive business in a short span of 2 to 3 months. That's a humongous challenge for suppliers and for plants also. And the second challenge, of course, is estimating what the demand. Thank you very much.